here we are once again doing I've had enough of this. I got into kombucha about 8 or 9 years ago. Maybe not before it was cool, but definitely before you could buy it in the shops. In order to start brewing kombucha, you need to find some kombucha culture, or the kombucha mother. Now, I acquired mine by venturing into the deepest, darkest depths of Melbourne's northern suburbs. I met with a guy there who had dreadlocks and an enormous number of housemates, none of whom seemed to know how to wear anything other than baggy clothes. He sold me some kombucha mother. I later found out that that's actually not a very cool thing to do. It's not a very kombucha thing to do. As you brew kombucha, you make more mother. You're making layer upon layer upon layer of this stuff, and you will literally be throwing it away. You should be getting it for free. If you're really, really struggling to find someone who has any culture, don't worry, there are other ways of doing it kind of from scratch, and I'll explain that later on. I took this kombucha culture away and I started brewing kombucha. I was also making beer at the time, and sourdough bread and sauerkraut. I was fermenting everything. At some point, I just got bored of kombucha and I stopped brewing it. I neglected my mother. I'm an awful, awful person. But luckily, the kombucha mother is actually pretty resilient. You can leave it for quite a long time. I've even had friends say that it's impossible to kill a kombucha culture, and to them I say, wrong. I did it. I left it for way too long, and when I tried to start it up again, I got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Luckily, someone else had some and I managed to start it all over again, and then we moved to Queensland. And I haven't brewed since. It's been over 12 months, and I'm kind of worried that the kombucha mother might have suffered. I'm hoping that this kombucha culture is still alive, and if not, let's try and revive it. And of course, like I said, if it really doesn't work, there are other ways for us to figure that out. So let's give it a go. All right, I guess we are doing this still. But you know, why not? So, I've got my questionable kombucha. I've got some green tea, some black tea, and some sugar. I've also got a kettle. So we're going to start off with 200 grams or 1 cup of sugar. That's enough for a 4-litre batch. Then we're going to add some boiling water, just enough to dissolve the sugar, plus a bit more to make sure we can steep our tea bags. So first things first, we'll take our black tea bags. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, let's string these up for 3 minutes. Now we want to add 6 tea bags of green tea for another 3 minutes. If you're wondering what these lines are on my jar, I've actually measured out 2, 3 and 4 litres. I don't know why I didn't put 1 on there. Layer up. So you'll see there's kind of layering. You can get your finger and peel away the layers. So we're going to use that again. We're going to leave a little bit in the bottom of the jar because we want to make sure the pH levels are right, but also there's still a little bit of culture in there. That's also why we are cooling down some of the tea before we put it in. We don't want to kill these little guys. 200 grams was for 4 litres, so let's top her up to 4 litres. Remember that workaround I was talking about if you couldn't find any culture? Here it is. All you have to do is grab a couple of bottles of your favourite kombucha, and as long as it's not pasteurised, you can just tip it in, and in a week's time, you'll have yourself some kombucha. Good. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to take this. That's kind of it. We need to cover this up so that the flies don't get into it, but also we need it to still be able to breathe. So I took an old, I think they used to call it a work shirt. I just cut the sleeve off one of my old business shirts and cut it to size. We'll see how it does in a week. Quick look for how it's going. It's hard to tell. still just brewing away. All right, so let's take a look. It's been a week. Let's see if it's still alive. That's a new layer. That's a new layer of my... All right then, let's give it a try. Smells like kombucha. Well, that's actually pretty good. It's kind of cidery. I thought it was going to be a lot more vinegary. It was smelling like it was very ripe. This has still got quite a lot of sweetness to it. Oh yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bottle this and maybe add some fruit to one of the bottles. And hopefully it will carry on fermenting a little bit and get some bubbles in it too. Let's put some strawberries in. I am so pleased that that culture is still alive, and there we have it, strawberry kombucha.